Here is the movie spoiler for my last video, Fractured. Super crazy, let's do it. And obviously don't watch this video if you don't want it spoiled for you. Like I said, Ray and his wife Joanne are with their daughter Perry at a gas station when she falls off of this ledge and falls like 10 feet down onto concrete. The way he fell was crazy. When he wakes up, his head is like a foot away from rebar. Like this is rebar. Oh my god, it's so scary. Oh my god. So this is really important. He wakes up and he stands up and he turns around and he just stares. And his wife Joanne is trying to get his attention, like, what happened? What happened? Then he finally snaps out of it and he says, okay, we're gonna take her to the hospital. We think her arm is broken. Once they get checked into the hospital, the lady behind the desk starts asking questions like, what's your insurance? How do we bill you and everything? And then she asks if Perry is an organ donor, and Perry's like 7 years old. So her mother goes, no. The lady goes, is there any way I can convince you otherwise? Creepy. So finally, Dr. Bertram sees Perry and he says, okay, we need to get her x-rayed. Only one parent could go with Perry, so the mother goes and Ray stays behind and watches the elevator go down to the lower level to get x-rayed. But you find out later that the x-rays are actually on the 3rd floor, so why did they take them down to the lower level? He falls asleep waiting for them, wakes up, and then there's no record of them ever being there. No files, no signatures, and no scanning records. Then they look at security footage and you see what you saw before, except you don't see his family there because they're out of the shot. So you don't know who's telling the truth. There's a bunch that happens, starts running from the cops. He ends up shooting a guy in the knee. There's a bunch of gross stuff. And he's convinced that they have captured Perry and his wife and are going to take them for spare body parts. Every time he sees somebody that he saw before he fell asleep, he goes, you remember me, right? You treated my daughter. And all the doctors and nurses go, yeah, but you came in for a head injury and you came in alone. Who is telling the truth? Spoiler. The doctor and the hospitals are telling the truth. He actually has a really bad head injury. He ends up getting the key to the elevator to get down to the lower level and he's hallucinating, but you think he's telling the truth and you see empty bodies with all of their organs taken out and you see them operating on his daughter and his wife. But he's actually hallucinating and he takes Perry, what he thinks is Perry, but he takes an actual patient in the middle of a surgery, which is kind of low-key funny, but not funny. Puts the guy in his car, starts to drive away. What happened was his daughter actually did fall off the ledge, but she ended up dying and her head bled out. And remember what I told you before when he had that moment when he was just looking out? When he snapped back into reality, that was his fake reality when he was trying to convince himself of what he didn't do. He actually shoved his wife and her head fell on the rebar and she got impaled. His family was dead, he killed his wife, and to deal with the trauma, he convinced himself that it never happened. Everything he saw was fake. Happy spoiler.